I just want to set this and then I can ramble. Is this it? My sister's room? Yeah. All right. So for those here, let's do it before I really start. For the chat. We're in a room in a hotel. It's very cold. Everyone's wearing pajamas, right?
Yeah.
We're all wearing. We're all wearing pajamas. I'm wearing my Finn Balor Christmas pajamas. We have a Polybius in here. That's all. And everyone's. Are you guys eating Blueberry or Count Dracula or both? Everyone is eating very appropriate cereal. Oh, Frankenberry, Count Chocula, and Blueberry. Got it all. Awesome. So the stream, unfortunately, I'm just going to put you here and let you sit there and listen to this very special episode. This live episode at Free Play, Florida. Thank you for being here, everybody. I got a big, I'm sorry, I have a way better chair than all of you. But I stole it, so if you want to go steal your own, you can also have a great chair. They're right outside this wall right here. So be my guest, since I'm the king of this convention, I can say what goes. Keith Abercrombie told me it's okay. Did anyone see Chill Screen earlier? Yeah. That was miserable. And it feels so nice to be in pajamas right now, because I was so cold during that. But we all saw I'm a true champion, and I succeeded in being victorious once again. No one can beat me, true gamer for life. Okay, so I'm just gonna give the spiel for anyone who doesn't know, who hasn't done this. I do this live most Wednesdays online on YouTube. I used to be a real life grave digger in Massachusetts, and it was in Natick, Massachusetts. I dug graves for 2 years, and it was a very traumatizing job. It was especially traumatizing when I stopped being traumatized, because I realized I was used to this morbidness and I didn't like that. And then I moved to California, and now I'm using my old job to take advantage of the title of ex-grave digger and read some spooky stories. These are all true stories. I find books that are first-hand accounts from people telling their ghost stories and things that have happened to them. So these are very quick. This book, the stories are like 1 page to 3 pages, just like their account of what happened to them. So I think I'm close to halfway through this book right now, and this one's been pretty good. So the first story we will start with tonight is titled "My Sister's Room." It's from Anne Marie Karen. She's in administration. It always says their name, their job, and the place and year. And sometimes it just says like a vague word like administration. So Anne Marie was an administrator from Little Canada, Minnesota. 1975 and the 70s are the most haunted decade in the world. I have found that 95% of all ghost stories take place in the 70s. So avoid them at all costs. Never go back to the 70s. You will be haunted. All right, this one is called My Sister's Room. And it starts like this. One evening when I was around 16 years old, my best friend Julie and I were having a sleepover, much like us right now. Feel free to fall asleep if you want. You can avoid the terror that's about to come. We were having a sleepover at my house when we kept hearing odd sounds like someone was moving around upstairs. We finally broke down and complained to my cousin Doug and our friend Bob that we were scared. And so there's a baby in here. Oh my God! The baby. Someone is so scared they poured out a baby. I'm not surprised. Or they got so scared they got close and made a baby. All right. Cuddling can lead to very spooky things. A child is a true horror story for me. So, gosh, there's a living nightmare next to me. But I'm sure your child is beautiful, and I love your child. So I gotta get back to the story. Major sidetracking here. Okay. What the heck is going on here? When we kept hearing odd sounds like someone was moving around upstairs, we finally broke down and complained to my cousin Doug. Oh, cousin Dougs are always reassuring to have. And our friend Bob I like that their backup people are just my cousin Doug and friend Bob. It sounds like my real life. I gotta stick to the story. Okay, finally we broke down and complained to my cousin Doug and our friend Bob that we were scared that someone might have broken into the house. So being big, brave boys, they took us upstairs to search for the intruder. There were 5 rooms, so we each took one and searched it completely. Oh, I might have read this one. I'm remembering it. I never remember until I'm halfway through the story.
We haven't heard it yet.
Okay, you guys haven't heard it. If you haven't heard this, I apologize. So here we go. This one I think is pretty good. What it might not be, so don't hold me to it. There were 5 rooms, so we each took one and searched it completely. I walked out of my sister's room after satisfying myself that no one was in there. I came out into the hallway to see Bob and Julie standing in front of the rooms they had searched. I took 2 steps toward them when suddenly the door behind me slammed shut and someone from inside my sister's room began violently pounding on the door with all their might. We jumped, but immediately assumed it was Doug. At that very instant, Doug walked out of my brother's room behind Julie and Bob asking what was going on. Holy crap. Okay. We all looked at him, screamed, and then ran over each other, trying to get down the stairs. It was very funny afterward, but still very creepy. As I stated earlier, I checked every inch of my sister's room personally and found nothing. Of course, finding nothing gave me no comfort whatsoever, because my bedroom was right next to my sister's. Yeah. They all end very abruptly. It's like, and there was no ghost. That's it. Pretty freaky though. Okay, so I definitely read that one. I want to make sure for the ones who are watching, for the 34 people up this late at midnight watching this, I want to make sure I don't repeat too many, but maybe it doesn't matter. Here's another one. Oh no, this is 99. Okay, not the 70s. It's so hard to remember where I left off. There are some super freaky ones in this. So get ready. It's a blue beer, man. The children and the reptilians. There's a lot of reptile ones. There's like alien ones. Strange savior. That's like literally 3 sentences. Kuwait. Daddy Longlegs. Did I read that one? Most of this is just me just figuring out if I read things. So I'm kind of scared. Watching my brain process is scary enough. I knew it was Max. Thunder in the speakers. I just have no idea if I've read any of these. Psychosomatic. I did not read that. We'll start here. This is a good spot. Okay, cool. I think I remember an enormous word like that. Here we go. Oh, good. A not so haunted year, 2005. This is called Psychosomatic from Ashu M.G. Solo. That's not fake. Oh, that's a word. Another thing that's very difficult with this is I can't read words. God. I'm 37 and I actually have to sound words out. Becky, what is it? Interdisciplinary. Okay, you have to look at it. Give me a break. That word's made up. I've never heard of that word. What's that other word that's fake to me? Do you know?
So many.
My friend Becky is here, and my other friend Siobhan. I laugh so hard at this one word, and it's like.
Truck?
No, it's like. What the heck is it?
I just think it's where you don't know what asparagus is.
No, it's asparagus. I never heard of that.
Asparagus
I gotta remember this word. It's gonna drive me nuts. I wish she was here. She could tell me. It's like a word that means interview or something. Anyways, words are stupid. What was that?
Weird.
What? That's a fake word. What did you say? That is 100% fake because I've never heard that. That's faker than the one that I think is fake. And mine's like Constitution or something. Anyways, these words are too difficult. Back to the story. Interdisciplinary research and development. I honestly can't say that word. Interdisciplinary. Someone say it again.
Interdisciplinary.
How do you say that so effortlessly?
Discipline.
I'm an actor who reads words, and I can't say that. Research and development engineer, that's what they're titled now, and mathematician, told you I could read big words. Small town, Arizona, 2005. Okay, it's because my mouth is haunted. I've become haunted after doing all of these. All right. I had been driving for a very long time. so I decided to take an overnight break and get some sleep. I had been sleeping in the driver's seat of my car when my seat leaned back in a parking lot. With my seat. I thought the seat was haunted. With my seat leaned back in a parking lot. When I had a very vivid and violent dream. I dreamed I was in a vicious fight with someone in a garage. My attacker grabbed my arm, put vice grips on it, and painfully tightened them. I awoke suddenly and had severe pain in my arm. It stayed sore for most of the next day. Either the pain carried over from real life to my dream, or the pain from my dream manifested into real life. Perhaps my arm was in a bad position and in pain while I was sleeping, and this was what caused me to dream that my arm was put into a vice grip. On the other hand, perhaps I felt physical pain as a result of being attacked. This story stinks. In my dream, did the body affect the mind, or did the mind affect the body? You know, this is a dumb story to put in a book when they're like, I was haunted, maybe, or I imagined it. Who knows? What the heck? This story stinks. We will eventually get a good one, I promise. I read that one too, though. I remember that vice grip. All right, we're skipping way ahead. Let's go to the end of the book. Oh, a shadow back from hell. That sounds awesome, but I probably wrote it. I read it. Wrote it. Whatever. The Walker, Grandpa Jack. That sounds spooky. Rage. Did I not read that? It's so hard to remember until I get going. Nightcrawler. All right, we're off to a slow start. Sorry. How long are we doing this for? Is Brandon in here?
I'm here.
How long should I go for until everyone falls asleep?
You told me 2 a.m., but you could go.
2 a.m.? Well, luckily I've killed an hour already doing nothing. All right. Are you guys comfortable on the floor? Yeah. Okay. Let's say we should go ransack the hotel for like cushions and pillows and things. Yeah, it's freezing, right? Yeah. The AC is super cold in here for people watching. Oh, Hoor. This person's name is Hoor. I read your comment. I see it. I don't need a pillow.
You can give it to 2 lucky people.
Does 2 lucky people want a pillow? All right.
Just make sure you have them for
The
tomorrow.
child gets a pillow, and then you're the only other person that said yes, so you get it too. All right. We're going to read Grandpa Jack. Grandpa, can you guys see me in there? Hello. Hey, Dorlax. How's it going? Hey, is there anyone here who watches and comments regularly in the chat? Yeah. Who is that raising their hand right there? Evie. Hey, everyone. You probably all know Evie. Evie's here in real life, partying with us, getting haunted. We're all getting haunted together. Who was your name in the chat?
B-Ron.
B-Ron?
Yeah.
B-Ron is here, everybody. Chappie. Oh, God. Haunted Chappie. We all know Chappie.
Yes.
No, I'm not going to look. Thankfully, hey, Chappie, I physically can't look behind me because I'm in a very tall chair. Don't turn around. Don't turn around, he said. We all know what you're going to say, and I'm not turning around. Don't worry. I wish you could see everyone. I should probably turn the lights on, but then it's not as good for us. We have all the lights off in here. How many people are here? Like 20, 30 people? Do a head count. We have a haunted amount of people in here.
I'm counting babies.
Let's see. Let's do a little. You don't want to be on the stream, but you are now. Oh, we got another stream going on there. Hello. Wow. Haunted child. All right. There you go. There's people here.
I like her.
I'm very excited to be there. Super good. Chappie wishes he was here. Okay, cool. Sorry, we're going to ignore you now.
30 people.
Sorry. 30 people. That's pretty good for this late at a video game convention, reading ghost stories. Here we go. We're going to read Grandpa Jack. My phone is broken. I swear. Something's going on with the screen. That's concerning. Okay. Grandpa Jack. Reese Alamac. Information Technology Computer Support. Weatherford, Oklahoma. Anyone from Weatherford, Oklahoma? Good. This might be offensive. Maybe it's your cousin. My wife had left for the morning. I was working nights and went back to sleep. After about an hour, something woke me up. I was beyond scared. This was the most intense fear I had ever had in my entire life. I was on my side, but knew that someone was standing at my back. I just knew someone was there. It's cliche, but the hair on my neck was tingling. My first thought was robbery. Psst. The tone was clear, and I recognized it. He recognized the psst. Okay. I knew that voice. Literally any voice could go psst. And you cannot tell who it is. That's a sound, it's not a voice. I have questions about this story. This happened 5 days after my grandpa Jack died. I mean, if that was his signature catchphrase, then I would think it was him. Otherwise, it could be literally the cat. I knew it was him, but I couldn't bring myself to turn around, though. We were close, but I was too afraid to look. I don't regret not looking back, but I still wonder what this meant. This, man, what a freaking letdown these stories are. Tell us it was definitely him, horrifying. So at least we can have some scare here. See, now Grandpa Jackson here, psting all of us. Oh my God, me, I'll spew. All right, let's read about the walker. We will get a good one. There are good ones in here, and I poop myself every time. Midnight caller. I mean, the caller in general would freak me out. My phone never rings. Okay, here we go. Walker, Ted Burke, nurse, Dallas, Texas, 1990. I was going to bed for the night, so I turned out the light, obviously, and closed the door to my bedroom. The room was pitch black. I got into bed, crawled under the blankets, and closed my eyes. That's when I heard someone walking around the room. Okay, that's pretty cool. Good, now we're getting going here. Although I had carpet, the footsteps were very audible. The walker seemed to be around the foot of my bed, pacing. I don't like that. I got out of the bed and turned the light on, thinking I somehow had let the dog in my room. There was nothing there. I turned the light out and got back into bed. Soon the footsteps started around the foot of my bed. Then I heard them come around to, oh, shut up. And then I heard them, oh, come on, man. Then I heard them come around the head of my bed and stop. I could feel the walker staring down at me. I was terrified, but I could think, before words, man, they're just so difficult. Before I could think of what to do, shut up! The blankets were pulled off of me. I freaked out, jumped out of bed, turned the lights on, nothing was visible. The end. Oh, that's a good one. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. That's good. That's what I like, when they're like, it was so messed up. Oh, that's the best. When something actually happens, it's super satisfying. But when they're like, I don't know, someone fisted me. It's probably the dog farting. That's all it is. I want these to be all real because I love ghost stories. I don't know if you all know this, but I grew up in a haunted house. My parents, my mom is so into ghosts, and this thing was messing with all of us. So I tend to believe ghost stories because I've seen some crazy stuff. So I really hope for true stories so I can sort of freak out. But sometimes they're just like, I think I saw something. All right, here we go. This one's called Rage from Michael Rene Gomez, Federal Security Officer, Spokane, Washington, 2010. It was the winter of 2010, and I was in my bedroom sleeping. It was the middle of the night, and the only light in the room was the moonlight shining through the bedroom. I was laying in bed, asleep with my cat beside me, when it started hissing. I instantly woke up and saw the cat's hiss was directed at the air above us. My gaze followed the cat's to a point where I observed a form roughly shaped like the upper torso and head of a man. I had the vague impression that this entity's head was hooded. The entire entity was darker than the surrounding darkness in the room. Yet the thing was still somehow translucent. The most noticeable features of this entity were the bright glowing eyes. The cat continued to hiss while this thing was hovering above my waistline, looking down at me. Well, that's a demon, that's for sure. You are haunted and you cannot escape. The instant that my eyes met the glowing red eyes of this entity above me, I sensed pure hatred directed at me, emanating from it. There was an instantaneous sensation of 100% malevolence. This entity hated me with all of its might and wanted nothing less than everything bad in the world upon me. It was at this point that I lost my temper, and I, in turn, felt burning, seething hatred for this entity with every facet of my being. Oh my God, dude, no wonder this is called rage. The rage had taken control of me, and it was overpowering the sensation of hatred and malevolence. that this thing was directing at me. All I wanted to do was attack and smash and rip and tear and bite into whatever flesh this thing may have had. This is messed up. This story needs an MA rating. I wanted to see the sense of pain and fear that I inflicted before I finally killed it. Dude, this guy's losing. There's another page of this. What is gonna happen? I sat up in my bed so that my face was no more than a couple inches away from that thing's face. I was staring directly into the red void of this entity's eyes. There was no humanity there. There was nothing that resembled empathy or pity, only that I could begin to describe as a feeling of ancient, eternal enmity. It was at this point that the entity began hovering backward and away from my face. As this thing was moving away from me, I reached out and attempted to grab it with my left hand a couple of times in rapid succession, followed by my throwing multiple left hooks. Okay, literally trying to fight it. There was no physical contact whatsoever. Each and every time that I attempted to physically assault this thing, my hand and fist passed directly through the entity's face and the eyes without any resistance. The entity continued to hover away from me and toward the far upper corner of my room. I remember seeing the moonlight cast on the right side of this thing's head and torso as it passed through the bedroom. I won't ever forget the moonlight reflecting off this thing's translucent form. As soon as this thing was out of my reach, the rage subsided and human rationalization began to return to me. It was then that this entity began to slowly phase out of sight. And for the first time during the encounter, I began to feel fear. It became apparent that this entity somehow sensed the growing fear within me when I saw it look down and smile at me. The moment the entity reached the upper corner of the bedroom, it disappeared from sight. Although I could no longer see the thing, I still sensed its presence in the room. And without a definitive target to channel my anger on, I began to feel a level of fear that I didn't experience before. After looking around the bedroom, trying to locate the thing to focus my hatred on it, I gave up and started praying. At this, it was after praying for a while that I could no longer sense this entity's presence. After this is the end here. After this encounter, I spent more than 2 years obsessed to the point where I could search while on duty during. Wait, what? I'm reading too fast. After this encounter, I spent more than 2 years obsessed to the point where I would search while on duty during my usual night shift patrol. I was constantly looking through dark shadows and in darkened areas of trees and courtyards in search of two glowing eyes to lash out against one more time. I've never seen this entity again. I've been left with many unanswered questions. The only certainty that I have is how this entity regards me. This thing sees me as prey, considers me as cattle. This entity thinks of me as an enemy, and now it will have me as an enemy until the end of time. This is a lunatic who's making up something in their head, who saw 2 Christmas lights, and now wants to fight all Christmas trees. I mean, what are you supposed to make of that? It's like, I am so sure that this thing hates me and I hate it too. Oh.
I had like the exact same thing happen to me.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Someone, everyone in the
told me
chat,
about
someone
this
had
2
this
years
happen to
ago.
them.
Yeah.
What happened to you?
So I lived when I was living at my parents' house. I lived upstairs in the house,
Yup.
and I would like just go to bed and like be laying in bed, and I'd be like dead asleep, and then for whatever reason I would just wake up immediately, and in the corner of my room there was a cloaked figure with glowing red eyes, like just looking at me.
Shut up.
And I would just like look at it and I'd be like wide awake, and it would just stand there. And so it happened, like, and I would like run and turn the lights on. And the second I turned the lights on, it was gone.
Did you feel like hatred? Did you hate it, or you just scared?
I wasn't mad at it, but I was like more just petrified of it, like terrified. But then so it happened again, and I got up and saw it. And I threw my pillow at it, and it just went like right. It just like went right through, and then I like got up and like turned the lights on. And then the third time it happened, I like woke up. I woke up and I was like just wide awake, staring at it, and I got up and like literally tried to punch it, and like I got up out of my bed and like punched it and like ran through it to turn my lights on.
Wow.
And it was, and then like I like told it like I commanded it. I was like, in the name of God, I tell you to like leave my house, and I never saw it again.
Shut up, dude! You ghost busted that thing. Holy! What year was that?
That was like
1970.
3
years ago?
It was like 4 or 5 years ago.
4 years ago, was it not 2018?
Was there any like history to your house? Like,
No,
nothing?
it was a new house.
A new house?
Yeah.
Really? On a graveyard?
I think, yeah. I think sometimes ghosts can be in houses, but I also think ghosts just follow people, and you can just be haunted yourself. You know.
If you have a haunted hoodie.
Well, they move in like cockroaches.
Wow. Well, that's the thing I wanted to do. I was like, well, it's if anyone does anyone have ghost stories here that they could tell and feel like they could say easily?
One.
Okay, so we're gonna do some ghost stories here from the. So if we do a ghost story, I think whoever does it should hold the light at themselves, and then say, okay, then you can just be, all right, then you can just be a dark spirit telling the story.
I'll just do what he did. So I decided to.
I'm gonna put this here though, so the chat can at least hear whoever tells the ghost story. I'll put the mic closer. You won't be able to see you
This is
because it's
exactly
too dark.
a ghost story.
It's gonna be too dark, everyone, but just listen.
You'll be able to hear it though.
Yeah, it'll be here. Okay,
Okay.
tell it.
So I decided that one summer I was going to live in my backyard for whatever reason. And
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
This is my friend Becky, so if I tease her, it's because she's my friend.
So
So don't
anyways,
hate
there's a really big trampoline out there, and I decided like that would be my bed. And my parents had moved out. It's just a bunch of friends of mine like living in my childhood home. And so I slept on the trampoline for like a week. Nothing happened, and then all of a sudden, one night I had been sleeping for like a few hours. Like I wasn't in that sort of on and off mode before you're actually asleep. And then all of a sudden my body was like jolted. But right before that, I woke up and I saw some type of like shadowy thing, probably like 5 or 6 feet on one side of me, and then it was coming at me, and then I jolted, kind of like if I was shocked by electricity. Like my whole body just like flipped up. I just felt really alive, and then I saw it run out the other side of me. So whatever it was like ran through me, and then it went over to a tree that was in my neighbor's yard and just like disappeared and went up into the tree. And so I went in and it was
You saw the shadow figure go up
yes,
the tree.
I saw it like away from me, coming at me, and then I felt it go through me. And it was like 2 seconds, but it was the most electrifying thing. It felt like being like lightning striking you. And then it ran out and then went in this tree. So I told my roommates about it, and like a couple roommates I trust said that they saw shit in the tree, like floating around. And so the roommates were already talking. I had been in Florida for a while and like hadn't been in the house, and I came home to all of this. And they were like, oh yeah, we've been seeing shit floating around in the neighbor's tree. And so I don't know, and I didn't know that. So
That's such
anyways,
a weird. It's not like a ghost. It's like just a shadowy.
I would say it was a ghost.
creep?
It was like in movies they show you just like a black force.
Yeah,
Usually
yeah.
that's what a demon is. It's just like like a black sheep that moves around.
Yeah,
And it was
shadow
dark out.
people.
Yeah, it was like that. And so it was cool to be able to like verify that other people were seeing this. It
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
It was
You're not
always
dreaming.
running around the yard and then going into this tree. I know it sounds
Wow.
crazy, but like.
I mean, we sleep on a trampoline for
Yeah.
a week. You probably kind of lose your mind. So maybe that is part of it.
That's my story.
Wow, that's cool. Does anyone else want to tell a ghost story?
I got one.
Okay. Do you want the light?
No.
Yes.
Yeah, why not?
All right.
Turn the light.
I'm gonna move the camera just so people who are watching can at least.
And the body pillow.
Oh yeah, is there a Keith Abercrombie body pillow in here?
Body pillow.
Here, you can have it.
I just wanted to know if there was a Keith body pillow. So here,
Not like
if
I
you
was
want to hold the
sleeping.
light on yourself.
Bring the
What's
body
your name?
Frank.
Frank's gonna tell a ghost story,
It's
everybody.
over there.
All right. Tell away.
So, I was like a little kid, like living at my grandparents' house in Philadelphia, and
Haunted.
yeah, right?
My story was Reading, Pennsylvania, which is like an hour from Philly.
Oh,
And
like,
it's all haunted up in there.
really, like it was Chalfont, Pennsylvania, so like
Yeah.
like nobody knows where that is, so
I
like
do,
just
it's
outside
weird.
of Philly. But anyway, whatever. So, like I come from like an Irish family, so they like to drink a lot and fight a lot.
Fight ghosts.
No, nobody fought ghosts. Like my family's not as cool as you. Like they don't like fight ghosts and stuff. So, I was like 6, 7, And my grandfather was like, you know, like he like told me like my mom and my dad and like uncles and aunts, like you guys like gotta get out of the house, like you're just being too crazy tonight, like you just gotta leave, just go down the street, like hash it out at the bar, like you're just fighting too much here. And he's like, I'm just gonna hang out with Frank and we're just gonna watch movies and eat popcorn. I was like, oh cool, like this is fun. Like I'm like a little kid, this is a cool time. So that's how that all went. And we're sitting, I think like watching like Top Gun, maybe.
Nice.
Right? And we're like watching a movie, like eating popcorn, like I'm drinking like a 2 liter of like Coca-Cola, and it's like cool, because like no one's home, like tell me I can't do this. And
then the ghost said, no.
yeah, we like hear like out in the kitchen, like some noises like in the kitchen, and I'm like, oh, it's like I like tell my grandpa like, is there something going on? He's like, no, it's whatever, like it's just the wind, like nice night, Pennsylvania, windows are open, very cool out, and we just like keep watching the movie, like we hear like some more noises out there, and he like gets up, and I follow him out there, and all the chairs are moved away from the table, and I was like, oh, weird. He's like, oh well, it's not a big deal, like the wind probably did it. Let's go back to watch the movie. He like pushes the chairs in, and maybe 10 minutes later, like we hear like some banging out there, and he's like, oh, it's the wind, like it's the wind, like moving the cabinet doors, no biggie, and we just keep watching the movie, and then we hear plates crashing, and we walk out there, and there's 3 plates on the ground just smashed all over the floor, and he's like, oh, well, like it's the house. It's not probably isn't like settled right. I don't know.
This is outside in the porch area?
No, this is in the kitchen.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, like I'm just a little kid, so I don't know what's going on. And we walk back out in the living room, start the movie up again, and we just hear a bunch of banging. We walk back out there, and we watch a cabinet door fly open, and 3 plates just fall out on the ground, and then 2 chairs just fall over, like from
in front of you.
Yeah.
What movie were you watching?
Top Gun.
Dude,
Yeah.
no one needs to watch Top Gun. It's fun. Yeah.
And I was like, I lost it as a kid. I'm like screaming. I like run out of the house, and he runs out too. And he's like, okay, we'll figure this out. So anyway,
we'll figure it out.
It's
like crapping his pants.
Yeah, we like drive around the bar, and he tells like my parents and uncle, like he's like, okay, like me and Frank are like staying at such and such place tonight. Like you guys can go back to the house. Just it is what it is. Just that's it. So, and that's all I knew for years. And then when I was 17, we moved to Florida when I was like 8 or 9. I was 17 to visit my grandpa. Like he was like dying. And I asked him, I was like, so, like, I gotta ask you, like, remember that time, like, when I was, like, a little kid and a bunch of weird things happened in the house? Like, was that, like, a ghost, or do you, like, want to tell me, like, he, like, told, like, my mom and dad, like, he's like, you guys, like, gotta get out of the room, like, he's like, I'll talk to Frank on my own, and he's like, yeah, like, so I went and looked it up. Apparently, like, where his property was a farmhouse. And there was a depression in the backyard, what like used to be like a pond. And apparently some like 4-year-old kid drowned there in like the early 1900s, like
70s.
1910, yeah. And,
Wow.
that was it. And like he'd have like a priest come and like exorcise the house and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good one. You actually saw something happen there.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's what I'm always looking for in a ghost story. It's like, oh, I saw it. It happened. No lie. You can't cheat it. That's great. Thanks for telling that story.
I've seen 2 things, but I don't want to like.
Okay, can I put it near you so people can hear?
Yeah, of course.
Because you literally can't see anything.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do so people can hear. And I'll hold it on me.
So the house, my last house was from the 1940s, and my
My grandmother dealt with ghosts in her old house, but I think some people are more open to it or can see it or not see it. But anyways, I didn't have anything feel like it was threatening me or anything at all. But talking about shadow people, there was in my living room. When you walked in the living room, there was like a seat to the left. There was a figure that would, out of the corner of your eye, you would see it like sit up and stand up from the chair and then walk into the kitchen. And you'd see the legs up until about the mid torso, and then it would disappear. Like it was just a black outline of a person. And then in the I had an arcade and then to the left is my kitchen. That I would see just knees and down. Walk like a black outline of the legs walk by to my left corner, and it was only in my like peripheral. But I don't think
That's
it was,
where they
like,
always hang out.
I didn't think it was interacting with me. I think some ghosts are just trapped and it's like a photograph. Like it's just something repeating like that's stuck there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the main story. I don't want to tell the other story right now. The other
What?
story-
Why not?
Well,
Okay,
I-
should we
I'm
come
not
back to
gonna
you
tell-
after?
I'm
Too scary.
I'm not good at telling stories. If you really don't.
I mean, I'm not either. I just start rambling and say the same things over and
The other
over.
thing, there's something to do with my dad, my best friend Dad's David. My best friend David, growing up, his dad was an unorthodox exorcist.
What? You gotta tell this story. Should we come back to you if you want to like think about it or
No, I
something?
mean I'll tell what I remember from that night.
All right.
It was when I was really young.
This is
I was
gonna be
probably,
tight.
12. We were in his living room whenever they had people over. That we had to not in his living room. We had to go into his bedroom. So we were locked in the bedroom, and every time that a session happened, it just didn't feel nice in the house. And we always had to open the windows. So we would have to open like our windows and like the windows out in the other room. And I remember one time we forgot to open the window in our room, and we go out there and we hear screaming, and his mom. We saw his mom being pushed against like a couch face down, and his dad was face down into the rug. And his legs were being lifted, and he was like twisting a little bit.
You saw this?
Yeah, and then the guy was actually in like a chair, like strapped down like this, and like it was like one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Oh my
And
God!
And eventually, like it like was like trying to escape there, and a window eventually. I forgot. I don't know if the window broke because this is when I was really young. I don't know if the window broke or if somebody lifted the window, and eventually the spirit escaped, and like it was one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Jeez. I forgot, are there any children that might not want to hear spooky things in here? I'm scared. I'm a 37-year-old child. Just kidding. Yeah. Are you okay?
I'm fine.
You're the smallest person I've seen in here, so I'm going to ask. Wow. Yeah, that's a good story. Thanks for telling that. Holy crap, I'm staying away from that guy. All right. Does anyone have other ones? I can read some stories for a while, and if anyone has one they want to tell after, they can. You have one?
Yeah.
All right. So here, I'm gonna read a couple more, and then we'll do some more live stories from real life people. Hello, everyone. Chappie's still here. What is Chappie saying? I'm getting out of this creepy dang office crush. Chappie's in a haunted place. It sounds. Chappie, I hope you know you've become like a celebrity. What's that?
How is that spelled, Jackie?
Chappie?
Yeah.
It's Chappy.
Okay, good.
Why? Do you have a story about someone named Jackie?
Jackie.
We have a local arcade collector in Japan.
How do you spell their name?
Japhpi.
Oh, Jappy?
Local horror story, so.
Really? Oh, that's weird. It sounds the same as Chappie.
The
Chappie?
arcade collectors in Florida for years.
Wow. And are they haunted? This is a ghost that sells arcade games? Or something?
He haunts all of us.
Wow.
In the past.
I'm going to do a quick shameless plug to everyone in here. If you have not donated to Milford, my new movie, please do. I need to take every second to do that. And some people here, I'm drooling, sorry. Speaking too fast, getting too excited. If you're in here, I love you. Some people physically donated to Milford to me today, and I was blown away. I could not believe it. So I went tonight and donated to Milford with the cash that I was given, and we are now up. I think we're at we're getting very close to $18,000 now. And I promised at $20,000 when we raise the money for Milford, Keith will make a Keith Apicary movie. So I'm gonna remind everyone in here, hello, and donate if you can. If you want to see a freaking Keith Apicary movie, the Keith movie is gonna be good. It's gonna be romantic. That's for sure. Keith gets romantic, so get ready for that. All right, back to the stories. I really want to hit a good one here. It's like sometimes you can just go through this and there's like nothing good for so long, and then all of a sudden there's a really good one. The Fighting Irish. It's like you try to just pick them by title, but you just can't because you never know. So I'm gonna go backwards. I would think if I was writing a book of scary stories, I'd end on a good one. So I'm gonna go to the. If it ends in the 70s, then here we go. Ooh, 81 to 82. I was born in 81, and this is the last story, I think. Yup, this is the last story. We're gonna read the last story. See, this is good. Port Hueneme, that's a word. California, 81 to 82. Wyatt Carter, truck driver. Probably picked up Large Marge. This is gonna be a good one. I say that to hope that you make it happen. Ooh, the epilogue is pretty spooky too. Can you truly meet a woman who mourned at President Lincoln's funeral? Sure, why not? Okay, here we go. Let's see. We'll do another live story from the audience here at Free Play, Florida. After I read a couple more. This better be good. Here we go. Twisted Cross. Yup, spooky. Wyatt Carter III, truck driver, Port Hueneme, California, 1981 to 1982. Friends of mine had just bought a house that had a small guest house out back. I needed a place to live, and the guest house was perfect. My friends had 2 young boys and about 5 and 7 years old. The main house was small, built in the 1950s. The living room and kitchen were in the front, with bedrooms off a hallway in the back. It was a 3-bedroom home, the last of which the boys would not go near and opted to share a single room instead. The unwanted 3rd bedroom became a storage room for the family. When I would visit in the main house, I'd enter through the back door and walk down the hallway past the bedrooms. It was a summertime. It was summertime, but every time I had walked by the unwanted room, it felt cold. Just by that door, nowhere else. Experiencing the consistently cold area always gave me a spooky feeling. The boys were so afraid of the strange room that they would go around the outside of the house to visit me, as opposed to walking down the hallway. One day, I talked to them into staying close to me as I opened the door to show them there was nothing scary in the room. Yeah, you idiot, you're in for it. I cracked the door open, and the air was as cold as a freezer. And the air, as cold as a freezer, came out. I tried to stay calm as the children ran down the hall to their mom. She hugged the kids and brought her rosary beads to the storage room's door. There she hung them on the doorknob, saying they would ward off evil spirits in hopes this would calm the boys. When I came to visit the next day, I noticed the rather large cross on the rosary was bent in half. I'd hate that. That's messed up. And I lost my spot. Crap. The only way to have bent it would have been with pliers. I showed it to my friends, and they were so upset as I was. There was a very uncomfortable and evil feeling exuding from the room from then on. Yeah, because we're all terrified. Shortly thereafter, I got into a serious motorcycle accident. Dude, you are haunted. Holy crap. Got in a serious motorcycle accident and nearly died. I wasn't sure if it was related to the strange occurrence in the house, but I was compelled to move. So were my friends. They put the house up for sale while living elsewhere while it sat vacant for a year. Dude, that's a good one. That's pretty good. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that one. So now we're gonna move backwards. I'll read one more, and then we will have, what's your name? Who wants to tell the story?
Derek.
Derek. And you don't have to put the lead on if you don't want to, but you can if you want. All right, so now, hopefully this one's good too. This is the second to last story. This is called The Whispering by Darren Pearson, Secretary Coordinator, British Columbia, Canada, 1994. Remember, these are all true stories. These are not written. Life was tough as a textile salesman. I had to put up with picky clothing designers, but it was common for English-speaking Quebecers to work in such fields in the 1980s and 1990s. Finally, one day, my sales manager asked me if I wanted to go to Vancouver, British Columbia to service the Western accounts. I couldn't pack fast enough. It was time for a fresh start. My marriage was stale. It must be nice to have anything in mind. That sounds pretty good to me. I'd love for someone to know me. My marriage was stale, and I wanted to get my kids out of the political language hotspot where we currently lived. It was the summer of 1994, and we were now living on the West Coast, just getting by. I found a second job working security in the local film industry. It didn't take long before I was in charge of securing film locations, equipment, sets, and actors for various television shows like The X-Files and Millennium. Oh, that's freaking tight. Nice. X-Files rules. The stories, all right, last page. The stories, one location called Riverview, a mental hospital that had been closed for 25 years, superseded it. I don't know what I just read. That is a weird sentence. You know when you're reading and you're not paying attention to the words and it doesn't make sense? I hope you guys are paying attention. Does that make sense to you? Moving on. Anyways. So he found a super scary spot, I think, or something. One night, the building rigger and myself started working on the 3rd floor with the power off. The only light we had was that of our flashlights. Our hair would be on end as we walked past various rooms. You can only imagine the horrors that these poor souls went through while living here. We walked quickly. Then on the 2nd floor, we experienced the same thing. Our sixth senses were on fire, and all we wanted to do was run. Finally, we reached the ground floor thinking we would soon be done. However, we first had to walk through the east wing. As we walked to the end of a long, dark hallway, I sensed something like a soft kiss. That sounds freaking nice. Are you kidding me? Why are you scared of that? Gentle caress? Give me a break. I would pay anything for that. I sensed something like a soft kiss on my ear. So you felt the feeling of true romance and you ran. What a loser. I held my breath and kept walking. We entered a very large room with lots of windows that I assumed was a solarium. That's when my belief system changed forever. Oh man, dun dun dun. Here we go. The room became alive with very subtle voices which seemed to completely surround us. My coworker and I stopped a foot apart. I couldn't breathe, as the pounding in my chest was so fierce. All I remember as we ran toward the exit was that the whispering seemed to follow us. That's messed up. We still film there, and the many true stories that happen there are usually more intriguing than the stories being filmed.
Perfect ghosts.
That's pretty good. Pervert goes for real. Because kissing in ears. That was the whispering in 1994 in Canada. All right. You want to tell your story?
Sure.
Do you want, Derek, do you want the light or no light?
I'll take the light.
All right. Derek's going to take this spooky haunted light. Derek, everyone, in this freaking chat is going to tell a story. Let's see. Let me hold it and see if I can put this in. There we go. Oh, you look so scared. All right. Lay it on us, Derek.
All right. So in 1996 or 7, I was living in an apartment complex with my parents, and I hadn't started school yet, and I was still like 5 or 6, so a baby. And there were a lot of other kids in the apartment complex that just had nothing to do most of the day. Super Nintendo was out, Tomb
Nice.
Raider, PlayStation 1. but
Sounds like you had a lot to do, in my opinion.
Well, depends on whether or not you had any games for that.
Yeah.
So we would share stories and talk about things, and one of the things that all the kids really agreed on was everybody has these little rumors like Bloody Mary and stuff like that. And it really seemed to catch on in our apartment complex. And one day, without thinking, I just got off the computer, walked into the bathroom, and said, hey, why not?
Oh, shut up.
And
You
so,
did it?
And so I did it,
Sorry, we're in the mood.
and it was in complete darkness.
I hate it.
Because the way that the apartment was built is that there was a room on one side, a room on the other side of the bathroom, and then no windows in there. So the only light you could see was coming into the bottom of the door. I couldn't even see my hand in front of my face. And so the way that they had told us to do it in our apartment complex was to, spin around 3 times or something and look in the mirror and then pull the shower curtain back. And when I did, I saw 2 glowing green circles, eyes presumably, and I leapt up without bending my knees. And
You levitated.
well, it was mostly like being scared, like Tom the cat.
Wow.
Like immediately, I was at the door. I came out. I told my mom. She was like, "Shut up, whatever."
Don't talk to me. You're haunted.
And I talked to everyone else about it, and they're like, "Oh yeah." And I'm like, "What do you mean, yeah?"
Duh. Yeah. Bloody Mary showed up and hunted you. Wow. Really? So was it like right in front of your eyes, like eye level?
It was above me because I was very short. But like right around the height where you would put the shampoo and everything on that little indentation in the wall. It was just up there, and it wasn't like against the wall. It felt like it was.
Wait, were you looking into a mirror?
No, this is like behind the shower curtain.
Oh, you saw the eyes over there.
Yeah,
Not in the mirror.
So it wasn't until I moved something.
Whoa,
that
that's even scarier.
Yeah, and I couldn't see anything, so I had to feel for the curtain, and I knew when it was past me was when I was seeing it.
Wow, that's cool. Did it ever happen again? Did you
I
ever try
don't
it
think
again?
I'm gonna try it again.
You should try it right now. That's something we should all do. We should all go do Bloody Mary in a mirror. See what happens. Maybe we have the power of numbers and it wouldn't do anything.
Bring a Ouija board?
I didn't bring a Ouija board. I was thinking about bringing a Ouija board. I should have brought it. Does anyone have a Ouija board in the hotel? No. Anyone at the convenience? Does Wawa sell Ouija boards? No? Wow, that's a good one. Thank you for the. Oh, my God. Thank you for telling. I feel bad. Are you streaming too?
Nope, just recording.
Okay, cool. Good. Because it's a horrible stream because there's no light on here. So. Does anyone else have a story they want to tell?
I kind of did.
You do? You want to tell it now?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Are you guys enjoying these live stories? These are awesome. This is way easier for me because I don't have to do anything. Oh, hang on. Secret time. Oh, yeah. Where is it? I think this is it. I think it's this.
I'll be back in the sweatshirt.
Okay. Yeah, is everyone freezing right now? I wonder, is Brandon still in here?
Sleeping.
Oh, he's sleeping. Yeah, I was gonna say people should lay down if they want.
What's up?
But if I took like these table covers and could use them as blankets? I mean, I saw tons of these somewhere. There was a closet that had tons of these.
Everybody should have a body pillow.
You could wrap up. Maybe we should take like a warming up for it.
Tell everybody to get closer.
Everyone cuddle up. No, seriously, there it is. I saw somewhere, I was snooping around, I saw these like table covers and these, cloth things.
Like a tablecloth?
A tablecloth. Because you could actually use those as blankets, and I think it would help. I'm MacGyvering here in the hotel. Yeah, it's really cold. Can we turn the AC down in this room?
That's what I was.
Oh, is someone looking over there? See if that AC controls is in here? Because it was. Remember yesterday, Brandon? It was really hot.
Yes.
Now it's really not hot.
We probably complained too much.
And they said, "Fine, we'll crank the AC."
Yeah. They're spiteful people.
I want to find that stash of blankets because then we could like really get. We could make like cat beds and stuff for ourselves. Hey, Relaxing, what are we at? Did you say check your movie total? Shut up, so close to 20 grand? Wait, no way. Gundle's in here, everyone, if you guys don't know. these are my friends in the chat. I hang out with all the time. Gundle donated a ton recently, so thank you there to Gundle. We're at 17,705. Wow, we're getting close to 18,000. That's great. I'm making money right now. Actually, I'm not making money. The movie is making money. All right. Well, is there no AC controls over there?
I don't see
Let's see. I think it's just light controls.
Did you say fright control?
Yeah, I'm the fright control. I'm gonna turn it up in a second. Well, I want everyone to be comfortable. Oh, there's a couch. 2 people are on the couch. That's nice. Does anyone want the big comfy chair? I want the big chair. I don't care. Should we just keep going?
Yeah.
All right. Well, if someone wants to snoop around the hotel and find some blank, I really want to get these phone calls covered. Here. All right. You start telling your story, and I'm gonna rummage for like 30 seconds. So I think I know where they are. All right. Who was it that wanted to tell the story? Do you want the light?
Sure.
All right.
Bring it on.
This. That was one of you.
Alright, I'm not too good at telling stories, so I'll do my best.
We all like spooky stories.
Yeah, because like, this one spooked me out personally, and I'm a pretty skeptical person, so.
All right. Good.
But,
I like it.
I'm very skeptical.
Can't even say that word.
Yeah.
What is the freaking word?
I'm a skeptical person.
What is it? See, you can't say it when you try. Scalpel people. I like when it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Someone doesn't believe because then that means a lot
I was like
more.
the same thing. So
I'm very skeptical.
Yeah.
I haven't, for my work, I go into very creepy houses all day long. This is, I install cable. I've been doing it for 15 years. But this is nothing really that. This is a friend of mine, and right after high school, I was friends with him before then, but I was at my house, working on my car in my yard, and I saw him walking to the road, and I was like, hey, what's going on, man? I haven't seen you in a while. He's like, yeah, I just inherited my grandma's house, and so I've been living over there, and so I started hanging out with him again, and this is when we were like 18 or 19, right after high school, and he moved into his grandma's house, his grandparents' house, and it had been abandoned for maybe 10, 15 years. It was built in the 70s. It was very weird. Very weird house. All of the carpet was very psychedelic, like patterns like red and brown, like triangle carpet, like wallpaper, like little like wallpaper everywhere, and like in the bathroom it was all like 70s Grecian zodiac wallpaper. A very weird house, abandoned for years, and so he had been like living there for a while with just him, and his he'd always told me like his grandpa was always very rough with his grandma, and like she hated living there. She hated like the whole lifestyle, and then they passed away, and it's a very unhappy house. And but me and my friends, we'd always go over there after school, or like and just hang out in this weird old house. And we found this really weird painting of like the Gordon Fisherman, with like a girl on a boat, like it was we looked it up. It was a Dutch painter painted this photo of like this. Yeah, it looked like the Gordon Fisherman, like the yellow, like jumpsuit kind of thing. I don't know, the fisherman thing, And the girl, she's looking at you straight, like dead, like just dead eye, like straight at you through this painting. It's a really creepy photo. So, anyways, we found out. We thought it was funny. We put it on the wall, and after that, the house got really creepy, and he couldn't sleep at night in there anymore. He kept hearing weird things in the attic, and kept hearing sounds of like people screaming or like banging on things, and like I thought it was a little crazy, and because he never lived on his own, and the house was kind of creepy, and the story of his like grandparents, were also kind of strange. So like he kept staying in the house, and like even though he kept hearing these weird things, and so I told him like, let's go take a look in the attic one day. And so he climbed up in the attic, and and first we didn't see anything, and then like we looked around and there was like hundreds of ripped personal checks, but like they were all written out for like 2 cents, 3 cents, 4 cents.
What?
Like hundreds of these things like ripped right in half. Like
Was it? I mean, I'll only interject real quick. Was it an actor? Do you know? I've gotten many 2-cent checks.
It was like just
Like
like
you get so
personal
ticked, you
checks
just rip them up and like throw
for
them away.
like 2 cents, but like
Weird.
everything about this house is weird. Like
Were there handwritten ones?
handwritten.
Oh, that's
personal
really
checks,
weird. That's
all ripped in
strange.
half, but they were all for like nothing was like over $1. It was like just like hundreds of them everywhere. It was like floating,
Wow,
like,
that's weird.
And then like I don't know. We could never figure out, but like it was like middle of summer. It was like super humid in Florida, right on like a lake. Bats everywhere outside. It was just a strange house and like
Classic haunted
yeah,
setting.
like I don't know. I could never figure it out, but anyways, it was really strange and like after that he moved out and the house has been abandoned for like 15 years since. So
Man, because the guy couldn't pay his rent, we had 3 cents.
We should take the paint down.
it was the painting. That was like the catalyst.
Oh, I guess it's not that bad. Thank you for that story. Another good one. I like hearing anything spooky. All right. Does anyone else have one, or should I just read some stories of the book? It's also getting late. So should I keep going, or should I stop? What should we do
You can
here?
stop whenever you want, sir. It's 1:22.
It's 1:22.
You asked me to 2, but if everyone's
What's the general consensus?
Okay,
What,
you need to have your energy to do the back tomorrow. So
yes, I will need the energy to be back for tomorrow. Keith Abacary will be here tomorrow, and he will be.
this young lady over here has a short story.
Ooh, I like it. Do you want the camera and light, or neither? All of it. All right. There you are. Haunted face. All right. What's your name?
My name's Allison.
Hello, Allison. You got a good. All right. Cool.
Okay, so
Scare us.
you don't have to go far because it's not gonna keep going.
Okay. You're right.
So, I was living down the street from here pretty much back like 5 years ago, and I was with like my first relationship, you know, and I moved in, and we were living together, and yeah, I asked him.
Right next to you.
I asked him before. Anyway, it's really short. So, middle of the night, both of us were sleeping. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, like you know how you go to bed, you have a glass of water on your night table.
Yeah.
I had that, right? So, out of nowhere, middle of the night, an entire cup full of water just like poured down on us, between us on the bed, and like so.
He's like, it was water, I swear.
it was like an entire cup full
Wow.
of cold water. And then we were just like mad at each other. We're like, what'd you do that for? No, what'd you do that for? And then we realized that neither of us had been awake, and it never got solved. I have no idea.
So there was actual water in the bed.
Yes.
But was there a glass
No,
of water?
There was no.
You never had an actual glass.
No.
That's
Because I still
weird.
had mine on my bedside, which is why I.
And it was still had water in it.
Yeah.
What?
What the heck? Orlando.
You mean he drooled really fast?
Yeah.
He could have all done at once.
And gross. Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
so strange.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. Short, sweet, and horrifying. What a waste of water. We could use that in California right now. All right, is that it for the group stories? Does anyone have anything they would like to share? Any spooky stories? You saw Keith Abacary live once and you never were the same again. That's scary. All right, so I'll read 2 more stories then from the book and then we can wrap it up. And hopefully we'll get lucky and get some good ones. Thank you to everyone in the chat who's still standing by and watching. Being on the hill. No idea, I'm just gonna flip to random stories. Ooh, this is a horrifying image. You see this? It's like a piece of cheese screaming at a woman. Sounds scary. Look at that. Sure, why not? It's called Deep Breathing Demon. You know, I'm mixed on the it's a 64, so it's before things really got bad in the 70s. I'm torn when it's demon things because I tend to think that it's people and like night. What do they call it? I can't remember. I say it all the time. Sleep paralysis. I hate when it's a sleep paralysis story. It's like, oh come on, it's just sleep paralysis. Then I couldn't move, but then I could. I know sleep paralysis is a scary thing and it's real, but like I want something where it's just unexplainable. And the sheets yanked off my bed, and then I could never eat a banana again. So traumatized.
Keith, have you had sleep?
I've never had sleep paralysis because I sleep like a brick through
It's
anything.
terrifying.
I've heard all about it, and a girl I dated for years had it all the time, and she'd see like demons laying down in bed next to her, staring at her, like breathing on her face, and she couldn't move. Like it was like super horrifying things, not just like someone in the distance. Like this demon was in her face all the time. So like, well, you're messed up.
The lens between dreaming and waking up is not a fun place.
Yeah, and I watched a bunch of videos on sleep paralysis where people go to like a sleep lab and they would monitor it and film it, and you could see that when it's happening and the person just starts like moving and they're awake and they're trying to like really break free, and then all of a sudden they can get up. And then it's been explained, and like I've learned so much about sleep paralysis where I'm like, okay, it's not that scary anymore. It's just a weird in between sleep thing. I have so many ghost stories. I think I've told them. Many of you may have heard them. The chat has definitely heard all my ghost stories before. Should I just say I could tell one of mine? That's probably me. A couple people haven't heard. I'm trying to think of the best ones right now. My dad had a really good story, and I'll try to like tell. I'll tell my good one in the chat. Sorry if you guys have heard this before. But all right, so my dad's story. I think my dad typed it up for me, and I read it on the stream one time. My dad was in the 70s, the most hauntedest years of Earth, and there was it was closed. The restaurant was closed. They were all cleaning up. My dad washed dishes or something. They were hanging out with like the bartender and the waitresses. They were just kind of sitting around. A couple of the people were drinking and just talking and chatting or whatever, and they were in like this front room when all of a sudden the front door opened, and they looked to see who was coming in. They were gonna say, "Oh, we're closed," but no one walked through. It's just the door opened, and they were like, "Oh, it's the wind blew it open," and then it closed. And then about the amount of time it would take to walk from the front door to go into the kitchen, where there were two classic cowboy saloon doors, those doors then opened. So it was as if someone walked through. I can't remember or not if he said there was footsteps. I don't think there was. But the door opened, 10 seconds later or whatever it would take to walk into the kitchen, the saloon doors opened, and they swang open, and then they heard, I'm probably saying this wrong, but as far as I remember, the chat is probably better than me. Then the footsteps went downstairs into the basement of the restaurant, and that was it, I'm pretty sure. So that's cool. I'm definitely not giving the full story, so it's not as scary. But it's a cool one that I like to tell. But my best story that I do know, well, there's two. I'll try to tell them both, but I ramble so long, it's going to be long. Okay, so we'll end on these, I guess, then. I'll tell the first one. So with this one, I'll tell that one second, because that one's slightly scarier. It's not really scary, though, because I get so excited when I tell it. It sounds cool. Because it was cool, because it was a freaking ghost. So the one was, I was playing Sega Saturn, super cool year of my life. I was playing Double Switch, one of my favorite games on Sega Saturn. And I was in my room. My mom and dad's house in Milford, Massachusetts is a very small house. And it's like kind of just stacked. There's like the kitchen, living room, and then right above there's a staircase, and then there's like 2 bedrooms and a very small bathroom. It's just like, you can hear everything in the entire house no matter where you are. The house was born in the 1800s. It's super old. So I was in my room, and I could hear my mom and my brother sat downstairs in the kitchen as they're making Christmas cookies, and I could hear like kind of what they're saying, but I wasn't really paying attention. But if I really wanted to like spy and listen to anyone talking, you had to really whisper in the house or have someone not hear you. I was playing Sega, and they were making cookies. My dad was in the cellar, which is below all of it. So my dad in the cellar, he was standing right below the staircase that goes upstairs. So if you looked, you're in the cellar, you're looking at the bottom of the stairs that go upstairs. So if I ran down, he would hear me because I'd be literally stepping right above his head, you know? So he was down there doing something. He has a workbench at the bottom of the stairs. He's doing something down there. And so as he was on the bottom, my mom and my brother Seth were in the middle in the kitchen. Basically the table is like right when you open the cellar door, there's the kitchen table. And then right above that was me playing one of the greatest games ever created, Double Switch. So all of a sudden, my mom and Seth heard someone run up the stairs to where I was, and they heard there were shoes on. And my mom yelled, "Nathan, take off your shoes," because she didn't let anybody take her shoes off in the house. And I was like, what did she say? Because I was playing the game, and I leaned, basically if I went like this and leaned like 4 feet over, my head was at the door at the top of the stairs, and I could hear her much clearer. And I said, what? And she said, take off your shoes. I was like, my shoes are off. I'm playing a game. I'm in the middle of a game right now. I haven't gone anywhere. And she goes, what? And Seth was like, what? I was like, I'm playing a game. They said, you didn't just run upstairs? I said, no. And I didn't hear these footsteps. They heard them. And they were like, they couldn't figure out what the heck was going on because they both heard, as they were just talking, they were both taken out of decorating these Christmas cookies. They heard footsteps. And they were like, someone just ran upstairs. And I was like, oh, this is crazy, this is cool. And I got immediately pulled in because we all love when the ghost did stuff. And then my dad came upstairs, heard them like yelling about it. And he's like, what happened? And they said the ghost ran up the stairs. And my dad was right below the stairs. Like, he's a 6 foot tall guy at the bottom of the stairs. His head is probably inches from the stairs, which is like a couple inches where the ghost would have been stepping because it's just a piece of wood, you know? It's a very basic built house. So he didn't hear it. Only my mom and Seth heard it at the same time. And it's not like they were like talking about it and together collectively made this up in their heads. They just out of nowhere heard these steps run up the stairs. I didn't hear it, my dad didn't hear it, so it was almost like the ghost wanted them to hear it. That was pretty freaky to everyone involved after, because we started thinking about what really happened and we couldn't explain it, so it freaked us all out. Other things that happened in the house, my brother one time was on the phone, sweet cordless phone in his room, looking up at the ceiling fan, which is like probably added in the 80s, and the ceiling fan turned on its own as he was on the phone, spun around once, stopped, spun backwards, which it does not do, and stopped again. And he's talking to Karen Johnson, his high school girlfriend, was like, oh my God, the fan just turned on. And then it stopped, and then it turned around the other way. And it was freaky for him. So stuff happened all the time. There were many times where I couldn't find my keys. We all hung our keys on the key ring. When you first walk in the house, you'd put all your keys, hang your keys up. And I'd go to leave, I could never find my keys. Like, where are my keys? I'd hang them up. It's like inherently, you just do it. You remember every time you walk in the house, just hang up the keys. Couldn't find my keys. Running all around the house, running late, looking for my keys. Went upstairs, came back downstairs. When I came back downstairs, they were sitting in the dead center of the kitchen floor. I would have seen those before. There's no way I would have missed them. It's like the ghost put them there. That happened a lot. Things would just be put in the middle of the floor that weren't supposed to be on the floor. We think that was the ghost doing things to us. The woman who owned the house before us, my mom talked to her and said one time a long full-length mirror slid. I don't know how it happened because it was screwed to the wall. It slid down the wall and stopped at the floor. And she told my mom that. My mom was like, oh yes. She was so excited because my mom loves ghosts. But the biggest and craziest thing that happened to me was I was in my room. My girlfriend was sleeping over the time. I was sleeping on the floor. She was sleeping on my bed. And we were talking. And no one else was home. My mom and dad were downstairs snoring away. They don't have a door in their room. They didn't like having a door for some reason. They just never wanted doors in their rooms. So they could, like, I think my mom's paranoid and she thinks people are breaking in so she could hear everything all the time. So I could hear them snoring from where I was because they were right below me. We were talking, my girlfriend and I, and my brother Seth was at his girlfriend's house, and my older brother Josh was at college. There's no one in the house. And if someone was in the house, I would find them in a split second. If I opened the door, I could look either way into all the rooms upstairs. They would have never been able to get downstairs. I would have heard them clamor. It's just impossible to sneak around this house. So we're laying there talking, and all of a sudden, the doorknob violently, and I mean that, like, jiggled. Like someone was like trying to freak us out, like jiggle the doorknob for more than just like it was happening for like 3 seconds straight. Jiggle, 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 jiggle. We both were like, what the heck was that? I opened the door, there was no one there. At first I thought it was Trash Bag, that was my cat's name, and he named him Trash Bag. I thought Trash Bag had reached up and like touched it and wanted to come in, because Logic was sitting, I was like, what the heck did that? What? And it was no Trash Bag in sight. He wouldn't have been able to reach it, wouldn't have been able to grip the door, not to shake it that much. So I closed the door and I said, I think it might have been the ghost. And she was like, shut up, don't say that. She didn't want to hear that. It was too scary for her. I was like kind of intrigued now because I like when the ghost did things, but it was freaking me out. So we're talking about it, and then a couple minutes later, we started hearing like this repetitive, like this loud creaking sound. And I was like, hey, maybe it's my brother Seth. He came home from his girlfriend's. He's trying to freak us out or something. Open the door again. Nothing's there. No one ran away. Couldn't hear or see anybody. And I stepped over out into the hallway, right over like the little basically 2x4 or whatever, 2x8 floor, door jam, whatever they call that, the baseboard, thank you, couldn't think of that word, that goes right below the door. I stepped right over out of my room and I made a creak myself and I stepped on it. And then I tried to like fidget my feet around to replicate that creaking sound, and I was able to do it. And I was basically, what I had to do was turn facing my room where I was staring at my girlfriend who was laying there like terrified, staring at me. I started rocking side to side like this, and it was going ring, ring. And I was like, look, I can do it. She's like, stop! Because then we basically got an image of what the ghost was doing. It was staring at us, rocking side to side like a haunted doll. It was so freaky. It was like, oh, I got so many chills. I was like, this ghost is just like staring at us as we're laying here. It's probably intrigued by us or something. This is what I like to think. Jiggling the door, not messing with us. So then I tried to talk to the ghost, and I was like, it's okay, you can like, it made me feel more comfortable because I was like acting not scared, even though I was scared. But by talking to her, I was like, oh, maybe it'll be like, need to do something. And she yelled at me, she's like, stop, Danny, don't talk to that ghost. And then we eventually went to sleep, like, I don't even remember the rest of it. But that's like the most freaky thing that happened to me in this house in Milford, Mass, which is a good segue for everyone to donate to my new movie. But yeah, those are my only ghost stories, really. I stayed in the Queen Mary recently. Nothing really good happened there. That was supposed to be super haunted. But I wish I had like a really good story. It's like, and then I got haunted and I floated across the floor. I don't have it obviously like that. But yeah, those are my two pretty good ghost stories or occurrences. I'm hoping some more happen to me. Maybe some will happen tonight in Florida now that we've opened the portal and the ghosts are going to come and haunt us all. If anyone experiences anything tonight, you have to tell us tomorrow. Maybe we'll do a bonus little stream here. But yeah, should I read another story? Should we wrap it up? It's pretty late, I think, huh? Yeah, let's wrap it up. All right. I'm gonna say goodbye to the chat. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. Everyone here, say goodbye to everyone in the chat.
Bye, Chad.
Ooh, I'm surprised you guys are still here. It's so late. Good amount of people still here. Thanks, everyone. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Thanks for coming every year.
I just ended the chat. Okay. Cool. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
We thought this would be like a bonus little fun thing to do. Late night pajama party ghost stories. Gosh, I'm haunted. My ghost haunted. It's so cold in here. I keep forgetting it's warm outside. It's Florida.
Yeah, I can't wait to go outside.
Yeah.
Humid though.
Go back to the room.
I'm just gonna
Yeah, good. I'm sleeping.